So it's been several days, maybe like 5 days. I'm not exactly sure since I talked to the camera. Much has elapsed in those days. I won't get into details, but how shall I say this? We're back in a hotel room. We stayed at a hotel room for a couple days when we first got here, and then we went elsewhere, and then now we're back in the same hotel. And yeah, I don't think I'll give details, but I changed the departure date, like the flight. I moved it up because I'm choosing to depart from the Philippines sooner than I planned for various reasons. Things that I had planned did not turn out as I expected them to, so my next best choice for me personally was to move the date of departure, the flight out of here, up. I moved it up. So that's the update. That's the biggest update I have to say. Yeah, so if I ever came here again, I would do things differently. I would plan things differently. so that I could enjoy things more. Maybe I'll get to that in a second, but what have I filmed in this video so far? I believe I filmed part of the, part of the hotel. By the way, this hotel that we're staying at, it's called Swiss Hotel in the Clark area of the Philippines. It's fairly close to the Clark airport. It's very nice. It's very nice. It's comfortable, and there are a lot of amenities attached to the hotel, so you hardly have to go out to find things. Yes, so I took some footage of the hotel just briefly. It's quite nice. And then we walked to McDonald's. It's in walking distance, and I don't usually eat at McDonald's at home. I'm not really a fast food type of person, but I didn't care at this point. I didn't care if I ate at McDonald's. And I was a little bit curious to see if their menu was different in a different country, and yes, it was different in a different country compared to at home. The differences that I saw is that they had fried chicken and rice on their menu, and they had spaghetti on their menu, and a larger size of fries that you could order. Like, I believe it, at least where I live in the United States, the largest size of fries you can order is a large. But they had this size that was larger than a large if you wanted to order fries, and I think they called it like the BFF size. So I took a shot of that. And the prices of the items at McDonald's were somewhat less than what they are at home. I would say it was about, 35% less cost. And of course on the menu they had the normal, like, burgers, that sort of thing. So that was interesting. It was nice that was in walking distance. Earlier today I didn't take footage of it. I didn't take any video of it because I wanted to be in the moment and enjoy it for what it was. Also, I thought it might be a little overwhelming for me to try to film. But we went to a wet market. We took a taxi to this market that was nearby, about 10 minutes away. It was the Mabalacat Public Market. Quite small. The smallest I've seen here. But still, basically the same as others I've seen, in that it was fresh fruits and vegetables for sale, with some dried goods, and fresh fish and meat. So we did that today. I didn't film that. And we went to a 7-Eleven that was close to that market, and a coffee shop. And so it was, what can I say, interesting to see the market. I did see some things that I would buy if I was cooking, but I'm not cooking. There's nowhere to cook in this hotel room, and I'm okay with that. And then we did that. We went to the market before going to McDonald's. And then after McDonald's, we came back to the hotel. Just kind of been hanging out here, resting. I fell asleep at one point. And then just a little bit ago, we walked down to the first floor of this hotel where there's all these shops, and I got a hot chocolate and a hot pretzel, which both were quite good. I liked that I could just walk there and walk back up to the hotel room. Anyways, okay. So, some of the things, I won't go too much into everything I would do differently if I came here to the Philippines again, if I ever came here to the Philippines again. What would I do differently to not repeat how this trip has gone? Well, I would like to be somehow able to have, I would like to be able to transport myself to where I want to go instead of having to rely on either public transportation or drivers to get me from one place to the next. Like, I didn't realize how constricting that would feel and how you can sometimes feel stuck. I'm learning that I really, really dislike feeling stuck. I see it even more now. I mean, I knew it to some degree before, but I see it even more now that I very much appreciate freedom of travel, like transportation, like at home in the United States. I can just get in the car and go wherever at any time. At any time. And here, I haven't been able to do that, which really changes things. I'm surprised how much that changes things, because you got to plan ahead to make sure you have someone or some plan of transportation in every single move you make. Every single move you make. In fact, I feel like 75% of this trip has just been me trying to figure out how to get from one place to another. And so, like, having to plan ahead for that instead of, like, just going day by day and figuring out what you want to do as the day progresses. Like, it has to be planned so that you can find a driver type of thing. So, yes. Okay, so how would I fix that in the future if I ever came here again? I would rent a vehicle. I would rent a vehicle and just try my best to drive here. Yes, I've been driven enough around here to observe how it is to drive here, and yes, it's very different than driving in the United States, where there are general laws that people abide by on the road. Apparently there are laws here too, but no one really follows them. Like, the driving is very different here. A lot of passing of slower vehicles, a lot of motorcycles weaving in and out of here and there. It's very sort of fend for yourself type of driving on these roads. And use of the horn to tell people that you're there, or like communicate in different ways. Okay, so anyway, if I ever came here again, I would just try to learn how to drive here, because being able to take myself from one place to another would be a huge difference in feeling like you're in control of what you're doing and when you're doing it here. Okay, so that's one thing I would do differently. The second thing I would do differently is try my best, yes, to stay safe, keep your eyes open, but at the same time, okay, how do I put this? I would like to not have to have someone with you all the time, whether that be where you're living or when you're going places. Like, not have to have someone who lives here, like, accompany you to every single thing you do. I appreciate their presence and their concern and you know, that type of thing. I just like to not feel like you have handlers or like all the time, 'cause I feel it's more difficult to control the pace of how fast you take in a sight. Like not being hurried through it, taking your sweet time, not feeling like you gotta watch out for your guide or your driver. Like there's this thing here, I think it's a tradition, that if you have a driver, you have to feed them and possibly house them if the trip is long enough. And I don't like that. I would prefer just pay them more, and then they can figure out what they're going to feed themselves and where they're going to house themselves. I'd rather just pay them more so they can figure that out for themselves instead of me figuring it out for them. Okay, so if I ever came here again, I would like that I don't have to have like people taking me everywhere, or like even living with you. Like basically it feels like there were roommates. I would prefer not to have that. Okay, so that's thing number 2 that I would do differently. Number 3, I would be a little bit more selective about where I stay. Like where I sleep. This hotel room is quite nice. It's really better than my room at home, of course, but when I'm on vacation, I want to choose. I am selective about how I suffer. Okay, I'm selective about my suffering. I'll suffer when it makes sense and when it matters and when there's something to gain from your suffering. But when I'm on vacation, which I'm rarely on, I don't want to suffer. That's one time I don't want to suffer. And so I would be more selective at where I stay. You know, a lot of people kept saying, you should stay at Bohol or stay at Boracay or go to Palawan, all these like more major tourist destinations. And I thought seeing some of like the not normal, just less touristy spots would be more interesting. But now I'm thinking maybe everybody else had it right. Like maybe the way to enjoy the Philippines is to basically just stay at a resort the entire time. But in my mind, now this may not be very realistic, okay? But in my mind, okay, I was being driven around a lot. I saw a lot of farmland, rather picturesque farmland with the cows in the field and the corn in the field or the rice in the field or some kind of crop in the field. And then like some streams and whatnot. I think it'd be nice to stay there, but in a more modern house. Now I don't know if that even exists. I see that most of the houses that are in like true farmland are like shacks. But if you could transplant like a nice, more modern, updated house into a very rural area, that seems much more peaceful and enjoyable. Okay, so what am I saying with this? Oh, I would, if I ever came here again, I would be very careful at where I choose to stay. So what is that? That's 3 different things I've mentioned now. Yeah, the things that I thought would bother me the most prior to this trip did not. It wasn't the heat, it wasn't the food, it wasn't, well, I was gonna say it wasn't the water, but yes, I'm kind of tired of being so careful about what water I drink. It's mainly been bottled water, which has a funny taste to it, and I don't drink bottled water at home. So I'm using it even to brush my teeth. So, but it wasn't that so much as that bothered me. It was mainly the things I've mentioned, the transportation issue, the feeling like I had people around me all the time. And then, and then, what was the third thing? Oh, yeah, being careful where I would choose to stay. I think I'll leave it at that. Yeah, so I'm going home a bit earlier than expected, but that was the best choice for me. I do not regret it. I am disappointed, definitely. That's understating it. I am disappointed in how this turned out as far as what I thought it would be versus what it was. But these final 3 nights, 2 days at the hotel, I am trying to make the best of it and enjoying what I can enjoy in these last few days here. Tomorrow, the plan is to take a taxi to a nearby mall. Now, it was one I went to briefly, I think the first day I landed here, and it was huge. This mall was huge. It was bigger than I think any I've ever been to at home. So I thought that might be interesting to wander around there. And then at 6 o'clock tomorrow, I have a massage scheduled in this hotel at their spa. So that sounds delightful. Okay, I got a story to tell. Okay, before I tell that story, I was talking about massages. Okay, before I tell that story, I have a few other things to say. The dogs barking and the roosters crowing are beyond. Okay, so I'm somewhat annoyed occasionally with the rooster I have at home crowing as much as he does, but in comparison to what I have experienced here, that's nothing compared to what I have heard here. That rooster at home is like nothing compared to what I have heard here. You wouldn't believe some of the first nights that I attempted to sleep, the dogs, what was it, like some kind of pack of dogs barking and barking and barking and barking and howling into the wee hours of the morning. And then after they were done, the roosters started crowing. I could not, it was so noisy. Okay, and the ants in the bed were not a nice touch for me. The ants in the bed. Okay, also, why does it, okay, this is gonna probably turn into a complaining moment here, but it's true, I have to say. The dogs here, why does every dog I've seen here look like it's about to die? Like, it's so skinny and mangy. Very unhealthy looking. I don't know why that is. And every cat I've seen here is also very skinny. It looks like it's on its actual ninth life. It's on its ninth life. And then the garbage everywhere. Like, why the garbage everywhere? Can't, like, you can pick it up and throw it in a dump or something? I don't know why there's so much garbage everywhere. And just a lot of details like that that I am not accustomed to. Oh yeah. Okay. I only know one language, which is English, so I can't say too much about this because I only know one language. However, before coming here, I was told everybody here knows English. Everybody can communicate in English here. Not really. I mean, they know some. Definitely, they know more English than I know of their language, so they're ahead of me. I'm just saying, that's what I came expecting, that everybody knows how to communicate in English, but I have found that the language barrier is much greater than I expected. So that's been not easy. Yes. So, okay, I was going to tell a story. I was talking about massages. I was talking about a massage I have planned for tomorrow at 6 p.m. at the spa in this hotel room, which I am looking forward to. At least I have hopes. I'll just put it that way. I will not expect too much, but I have some hope that it will be a good experience, this massage here at the hotel tomorrow. My story is I had a massage at this other location. I have to say I did not relax. I have rarely felt more physically uncomfortable because this woman, like, I don't know where I don't even remember her name. I don't know, she didn't know English, so I was trying to follow her directions as to how to lay down, or like, what are we doing? And it was a violating experience. That's all I can say. It felt like a violating experience. Her hands went to places that few go to. Let me just say that. I was not expecting that. And then she used, instead of like some kind of oil or whatever they use typically for massages, she used like some mentholatum type Vicks vapor rub, some type of thing that had menthol in it, like a paste that had menthol in it. And so after a while, after she like rubbed every square inch of my body, it felt like I was like aflame with this cold menthol feeling. And you know, that stuff took a while to get off my body when I was showering. It wasn't just coming off real easy. Anyway, it was like the worst. I have to say, it was that was I don't have words. I don't have words for that experience of a so-called relaxing massage. Oh yeah, and then she even rubbed the stuff into my hair, into my scalp, on my face, on my neck, on my throat. I was just, I should have spoke up, basically. I should have said stop, basically, but I was so taken aback in the moment I didn't even know how to react. It was so unrelaxing. I was just probably stiff as a board, just waiting for it to get over. So I have hopes. It didn't even feel good, by the way. I don't know if that was clear, but it did not feel good. It felt uncomfortable. She did this weird thing to my scalp, where she would like, I don't even remember exactly what she did. She'd dig her fingers in. By the way, her fingernails were long and it was kind of sharp. And then she'd do this thing where she would like flick my hair, like go around and flick. I thought that was the most uncomfortable thing I could imagine. Yeah, so that's just part of the whole experience that I am sharing a little bit about, but that's not hardly the worst. I am just saying. Okay, so I I guess I'm learning that I'm more domesticated than I thought I was. I mean, I feel it's almost embarrassing to have moved my flight to be sooner just to get out of here. But at some point you gotta do, despite embarrassment, despite the feelings, despite whatever it might be. And I've learned this, not the easy way, but you have to do what's right for you. Sometimes you have to do what's right for you. I'm not saying sin. I'm saying when you have the choice and it's not a sin, and you are doing it for your own welfare, sometimes you just gotta do it. And so that's what I did. And I don't regret it. I'm disappointed. I'm sad that this trip didn't turn out how I thought it would, but at the same time, it is good to be able to adapt to the point where you can say, hey, this isn't really what I thought it would be, so I'm changing my plans. On the other side of the coin, it's good to adapt as well and be able to endure certain things. Sure, that's a good way to adapt, to adjust, to be able to endure certain things. But this, as I said before, I'm selective about how I suffer. And on a vacation like this, that is not something that I am choosing to endure. I got other ways, I got other opportunities in my life to endure things and adapt and grow, but not this, I'm not choosing to have this experience be that. So, yeah, it's been odd in that I didn't expect the outcome to be this way, but yeah, I mean, I had another tour I had planned that I said I'm done. I'm not even going to go on that. There were too many things that just made me decide that I had enough here. But like I said, these next, well, the last couple days here that I have in the Clark area at this hotel, I will try to make the best of it. Enjoy what can be enjoyed. Again, I started to think, am I just like really more domesticated than I thought? Like, can I really not rough it as much as I thought? Maybe, and that's okay. But I mean, in some ways, I don't feel like I'm the most difficult person in the world to please. I was just happy that I could walk downstairs and get something to drink and walk back up to my hotel room. That was nice. I enjoyed that. I enjoyed walking to McDonald's and checking out their menu and eating there. No big deal. Walked back. I enjoyed the 10-minute taxi ride to the wet market today and looking around there. No big deal. No big deal. It was just everything else that I went through. But yeah, I arrived here exhausted from the long plane ride. Actually, 2 plane rides. I got here exhausted, but then it kind of stayed that way because I had such trouble sleeping in certain conditions. Like, I don't like ants crawling on me when I'm trying to sleep. I just don't. And they would bite. I have not had a hot shower except when I've been at this hotel. Yeah, it was just... like I said, I can see why people kept telling me, just go to Boracay. Why don't you go to Bohol? Why don't you go to Palawan? Yeah, and just basically yeah, I stay at a resort the entire time, and that is some people's experience of visiting the Philippines. Yeah, I can see that. I can see why that would be enjoyable. I can see now why people do that. But okay, the thing is, I was told certain things that were not so. I was going off of information that turned out not to be very true. So that's what I was working with. Anyways, okay, I guess I'll end this here. I've talked quite a bit. I have new appreciation for being able to drive myself at home, basically wherever I want, whenever I want. What a huge difference that makes. That, to me, that one thing alone of being able to transport myself in the Philippines on my own, that thing alone, if that one thing was changed, I think my experience here would be at least 50% different. Okay, so I guess that's all I have to say for now. I might try to bring the camera along on my little outings tomorrow to the mall, and whatever else happens. But yeah, my sleep has been very spotty. I mean, at the hotel I can sleep well. At the hotel, as soon as I lay down, I'm falling asleep. But elsewhere, I was not sleeping that great. Oh yeah, earlier on, I don't know what day it was, I said my digestive system was having issues. It has somewhat settled, but my gut still doesn't feel 100%. I have been trying to be careful about what I eat and drink, but I think I ate, it was early on, I think I ate some spoiled rice. I think that's what it was. I think I ate some spoiled rice, and that threw my digestive system for a loop. I have been trying to take some herbs and such to help my gut and to help fight off viruses and bacteria, like oil of oregano. Have you heard about oil of oregano? I have some capsules of that I think have helped me significantly. Oh yeah, and then I didn't take footage of this either, but earlier on in this trip I went to a market, a different wet market, a bigger one. I was taken to this stall where they served food. What I ate there is called palabok. It's like noodles, rice noodles with a sauce on it. Not like spaghetti. It's not spaghetti. But anyway, noodles with a sauce on it. And I was skeptical because I was actually a little scared because I walked down this alley, in the middle of this wet market, and I was gonna eat food that was served and prepared there, and I was wondering, is this a mistake? But I looked at where they were cooking in these big pots, and they were steaming hot when the surroundings are already very hot. So it was extra hot for it to be steaming in an environment where it was already hot. So I figured if there was a bug of any kind, like bacteria, that it would be killed. And when the plate of food came to me, it was steaming hot. So I ate it. It tasted good. I don't think that was what bothered me. I think it was what I believe was spoiled rice. Anyway, my gut, yes, I'm gonna be glad when it feels normal again. Other than that, I'm doing okay. I'm surviving. I'm doing okay. I'm fine. I mean, I say that, but I don't feel fine yet. So I'll stop here. If anything else comes to my mind that I think is worth sharing, I will share it with you. Yes. So until I see you again, I will say goodbye for now. It is a new day, the last full day in the Philippines, and it's still the morning right now. I woke up at about 5:45 and now it's like almost 8 o'clock. I ordered some breakfast to be delivered in this room, so that should be nice. Sunny outside, so we'll see how this day goes. And I don't think I mentioned this, but last Sunday we visited a church in this little town called San Vicente in Pangasinan, Philippines, and it was something I wanted to do for sure when I was here. My mom happens to own the property that this church is renting, so I heard that a church was renting a piece of her property, so I was interested in visiting it. And it was good. It was different experiencing a church service here in the Philippines like that. It was really a small group of people. I would say about 75% of the group was children. And yeah, even the adults, people who I would assume are adults, were not much older than 18, 19. So that the age range was quite a bit different than what I'm used to at home. So that was interesting. They sang a couple songs and then went into a sermon, and then sang one more song while they were taking an offering. They had one guitar to accompany them with their singing, and people clapped along to the music, which I did because they were singing in their own language, and so I couldn't sing along with them, but I appreciated being able to be there and see how they do things. They were gracious in that, well, in general, but they were gracious in that they knew we were coming on that Sunday, so they prepared by trying to give the sermon in English so that it could be understood by us. And so, I mean, I appreciated their trying to be hospitable to us. I understood it for the most part. I felt a little bit bad because the guy that was giving the sermon was having some trouble with speaking in English, but I got the idea of it. I got the idea of the sermon. It was about the that parable about the sowing of the seeds and how some of the seeds landed on rocky soil, some of the seed landed on good soil, that sort of thing. And he talked a little bit about finding our identity in Jesus and not finding it in things in this world, not loving the things of the world, that sort of thing. So I got the gist of it. The whole entire service, music included, lasted about an hour, so it went by pretty quickly. Yeah, so that is something that I wanted to do while I was here and was able to do while I was here. I don't know if you heard what I said last night, but I was saying I am choosing to depart from the Philippines sooner than I originally was going to. I moved the date up for our flight out of here, and I said that there was one other tour that I had that I had planned to go on, like a sightseeing tour of a waterfall, and that was supposed to happen sometime this week, Thursday of this week. I don't even know what this day is. Is it Tuesday or is it Wednesday? I don't know. But anyway, that was supposed to happen sometime this week on, well, Thursday of this week, this tour that I signed up for to see the waterfall, a special waterfall. And I didn't even care anymore because I just wanted to get out of here. I didn't care that I wasn't going to go on that tour that I had specifically sought out and planned. But you know what? This doesn't even surprise me. Actually, I got word from that company that that tour was canceled because there wasn't enough people supposedly to go on the tour, which I was not aware that it was potentially going to be canceled if there weren't enough people on the tour, because I mean, I paid partially for it, not enough for me to care about at this point. But so what I'm saying is, even if I had stayed here longer, that wouldn't have worked out, and that was a significant thing that I was planning to do. So it doesn't even matter now. It doesn't even matter now. It was canceled anyway. So just a little other thing about this trip so far. Going to that church, which I did like, and that tour that I was planning on going to was canceled anyway, so it doesn't even matter that I'm leaving earlier. Anyways, I'll just wait for breakfast to come here, and then shortly after that, hopefully we'll go to this big mall that's pretty close to this hotel. So breakfast arrived, was brought to this hotel room, which I think is kind of fun. I mean, I've not really done that before except when I've been here, so that's kind of fun to get served like this. What do we have here? Butter, whipping cream, ketchup, syrup, some sort of fruit compote, pancakes, rolls, bread, whatever, and sort of a breakfast plate of egg, sausage, bacon, and hash browns. Looks like there's a tomato there. So this is looking pretty good to me. A nice start to this morning. Oh, I forgot to just show you this too. So the pancakes are there, but there's more down here. There's more down there. Okay, so I'll go ahead and enjoy this breakfast.
Jesus is my rock stickers. Which I like. But it's not very Filipino. I need to find a real souvenir.